Hello and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Winona and I'll be playing the littlest of Mad Lads today. And I am with the amazing, the wonderful, the greatest of friends.
Hello, everybody. My name is Whis, and I'm playing the Twinksicle Chifley Forde today.
Who Mad
He's
Lad was
he is
not
not.
going. Sorry,
Neither of them are prepared.
neither of them are prepared. And Mad's like, that's the person I'm not here to see today. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. Yeah, Mad Lad had some extra time on his hand. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna visit Missy today at their home. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna go out and play, no matter what.
All
So
right, cool.
I don't think you described it when Mad Lad first saw their house, but what they say? Where does Misty and Chifley live?
Well, the Ford and Trevor Clef apartment is up several floors. It has a balcony and has exterior windows in the bedrooms, etc. And if Mad Lad's coming in through Missy's bedroom window, I suppose
Yeah,
was the assumption. Yeah.
yeah.
So Missy's bedroom is like the walls are a very, very pale blue. So like a lot of houses are often painted a cream, but instead
Mhm.
of like a yellow kind of cream, it's
Yeah.
a blue. It's like a very, very, very pale baby blue kind of thing.
Oh.
Um, and she has loads of stuff in her bedroom. Like she's got a wardrobe, she has an electric keyboard set up there, and a big box underneath it full of things like maracas and tambourine and a xylophone, glockenspiel kind of thing, which is just assorted musical instruments.
Nice.
Bookcase, a little table with it's just a disaster area. It's covered in paper and pens, and there's a tipped over tub of glitter glue that has long since dried onto the surface. And a single bed with green sheets that look like they are covered in flowers. The
Oh.
bed is not made. The bed is not made, and it's got a carpet that desperately needs a vacuum. It's covered in glitter. Um, but the door to the rest of the house is closed when Mad Lad comes in. Is Mad Lad going to like roll a stealth or
Well, let's see if he
anything?
can climb up there and then roll stealth. Probably.
Yeah, because like they're on like the third floor.
Okay, that's a nat 20 off the bat. This is going to be a great game.
God.
Let's see if his stealth is any. Let's see if his stealth matches up. Honestly, if it doesn't, it's going to be so hilarious. Oh my gosh, it's like the dice know what I want. That's a 4 on the die, and that like it's a 9. It leads up to a 9 because it's a +5, but I still find that hilarious.
All right. Well, let me. Hold on. Where is Chifley's perception? There. All right. Let's see whether or not Chifley notices from inside the rest of the apartment. Yeah, that's an 11 on the dice. I'm just gonna put the average command into my clipboard. Um. Yeah, that's a 15. He definitely notices. And like
Yeah, I
he.
yeah
Gosh, no, you go ahead.
yeah. I was gonna say Matt Black climbs this thing up like perfectly. Is say he is used to climbing stuff. He's used to climbing up buildings. Don't ask why. So
Now
like
I know why.
this is everyone knows why. But this is a piece of cake for him. Is that he's just climbing up, and what what gets him off that you hear like a humming, and Chifley hears a little sea shanty. So will the Wellerman come, think means that being wrong. No words, no time to take out we can go. He's Medla's just
Oh
singing, and that's
gosh.
why his stealth is not good. Because he doesn't expect Chifley, he expects his friend.
Yeah, okay. Um, Great. Okay, cool. Let me just If Mad Lad had been any less sounding like a 9-year-old, this would have gone very different.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just roll a insight for Chifley on just general. Okay, not your best, mate, but that's why you have a +8. Okay, yeah, no, that's an 11. Okay, I think he's heard this little singing voice coming from Missy's room, muffled at first from the window, and then of the window opening,
Yeah.
and then louder as he comes into the room. And the immediate thing is, oh, there's a child singing in the child's room. That's fine. Wait, she's not here. No one else is here. It's just me. Right. And with an 11, I think he's not going to go full. There's a house intruder, and I need to eject them with the unreasonable force. But he is. Oh, are you gonna do that, Chip? Yeah, yeah, you are. 'Cause you're a shit. He may not be a bard by stats, but he is a bard by nature a little bit. So he is going to go for a little bit of an intimidation thing. So let me just roll one of those quickly. Nice. All right. You're going to make one hell of a first impression, Chiff. Okay, so that's an 18 on an intimidation. So, here is what I picture happening. Mad Lad comes into Missy's bedroom and looks around. I feel like he has been in Missy's room before.
Oh, yeah. He's been in Missy's room before.
But it's very different when there's, like, Cassie and Dorian at home, and more to the point, when Missy's at home. But Chifley's not been home a lot because he's been at work or he's been at Lau's place. And the only reason why he's home at the moment when no one else is here is because he had come back to get something. But then he's just heard the window creak open, this little singing voice that he doesn't recognize. And then he's decided, okay, even if they're not here to rob the house, they probably shouldn't be coming in through the window in my sister's bedroom because a 6-year-old sleeps there. Oh, actually, no. She's 7 now.
Yay!
It's the 2nd of April. Her birthday was 2 days ago. I forgot. So Chif's was yesterday too. Forgot about that. Anyway, we will deal with that later. Yeah. So he's just gonna go and stand next to the door, and what Mad Lad kind of sees as he comes in, Missy's room is empty, and the door to her room is closed. That if he goes to try and make a beeline for that door, the thing that happens is the air temperature drops dramatically the closer to that door he gets, and then there's a slow creeping of frost from underneath the door in between, like around the door jamb, and just sort of creeping around it, and then it just sort of opens very, very slowly. And then a much taller Actually, how tall is Mad Lad? Like, I always picture him as short because he's 9. But
he is technically short. He is a short boy, but technically he's 4 foot. He's 4'2".
Yeah, that's very tall for a ratoon, let alone a 9.
Yeah.
My gosh. So, okay, Chifley and Mad Lad are only, like, 7 inches apart in height. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mad Lad is going to be very tall when he's fully grown, I see. But yes, so, okay, so there's just this very slow push of the door, and then there's how tall is Chifley? Chifley's 4'9". Yeah. So, yeah, there's this slow, and he's backlit. So, like, he is in silhouette, and there's just the light from around him, and it's just ice cold blast of air. Like, not in a forceful way, but just a very abrupt, damn cold, and you're just being glared at by this other tune in
Oh
door
boy.
with that 18 on that intimidation.
Mad Lad just, pardon the pun, but freezes as he sees Chifley. He's like, oh, it's you. It's the brother. What are you doing here? He doesn't say that. I love it. That's sort of the vibe Mad Lad gets. He's like, oh boy.
Chifley doesn't say anything. He's just staring at this kid.
You know, so Mad Lad's gonna try to be cute, so I'm just gonna roll persuasion. Okay, that's a 12. That's a 12. So,
Alright, I'll do a Whis save to contest that. Nah, you got nothing, I'm afraid, mate.
you know, this would have been probably cute if, say, if he hadn't gone through the window, but Mad Lad does make it sound like, oh, hey, Chifley, right, hi, nice to see you again, don't mind me, I'm just here visiting Missy.
There is a distinct arched eyebrow, and he looks so unimpressed. And he just goes, she's not home.
Ah, I see. He looks around. You know, I didn't know exactly because the room isn't like lit up or anything, but she may just be in another room. But good to know. Good to know that she ain't here. I mean, I don't mind waiting. I say I will just sit here or stand here just patiently and wait for her to come back.
I don't think so. I think you can leave. And perhaps come back when you found some manners.
Well, that's gonna be for a very long time, so that's not really an option. Mad Lad is gonna try to make another persuasion because he's trying to be funny. God, that's a 3. The dice know the situation. Wait, no, that's a 4. That's a 4, but still doesn't make much difference.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Chifley can't roll lower than that. I'm sorry.
No, he can't. And Vala is just like, I will bother you. I'll just sit I'll just sit in the living room and say I'll be mostly behaved. I mean, I won't like you know what? I'll just sit in the living room. I'll wait for her just like patiently.
I find that very, very unlikely. I may not know much about you, but from what Missy has said, I don't think you're able to sit still.
Kind of, yes, but at the same time, I will make an effort for her and for you.
She's going to be out all day.
I mean, I see what you mean, but you never know. She may arrive home early, and I literally have nothing to do.
So you're choosing to break into our home and do nothing here.
I mean, Matt was about to say something, but he's just like, nope, probably not wise to say that. Would you rather go out and let me do something possibly illegal? So he's just gonna go,
Frankly,
yes.
Mad Lad's not Chifley's responsibility, so...
I can just work on my own little personal projects.
Our living room is not your personal workspace. And you didn't even have the courtesy to come through the door. Do you always break and enter when you come to visit?
Yes, but I thought that was pretty common here.
And he just puts a hand on his head. He's like, gosh, darn it. Unfortunately, this is really not that much of a surprise. It's Mad Lad, isn't it?
Yes, Mad Lad. Pleased to meet you. Sort of formally now. Like, we kind of did before, but we'd never talked, so yeah.
Yes. Yes, I have seen you from afar. Usually around the time when disasters strike at school.
Not all of it is my fault.
No, some of it's Missy's fault.
And she does a good job doing it.
Oh, there's just an unimpressed kind of look.
He sort of looks confused. He's like, wait, that's a compliment. I'm complimenting your sister.
I'm not certain that you're a particularly good influence on my sister, to be honest.
Neither are half the kids in Equal.
I'm sure there are plenty of perfectly nice kids in Anquo.
I mean, maybe, but at the same time, half of those are wet blankets.
And what is it exactly that you consider to be a wet blanket, Mad Lad?
Mad Lad goes quiet because he's like, I see. I caught myself in my own trap. He's just like, I see the error of my mistakes. He realizes he played himself. And obviously Chifley can sort of see what he wants to say. Like, there's that tone of air. It's just like, yes. Your idea of fun and my idea of fun are two different funs.
Yes, I imagine they must be.
Yeah. You say he is just standing there, but, I, again, rather just hang out here. I mean, maybe I can get to know you more. This kid's trying. This kid is trying.
I think it's time for Chifley to roll an insight on Mad Lad. Chifley, do I have to change your dice again? That was atrocious, sir. It's another 11. What's he getting with an 11?
He's not lying. He would like to get to know him.
Okay.
At least it is maybe to pass the time until Missy comes around, but he's not exactly lying.
Not exactly lying. Okay. Alright. We could sit here and play 20 questions. I've got time for that.
It's like, yeah, 20 questions. That's a game I haven't played in a long time.
Chifley just sort of folds his arms over his chest and is just looking at Mad Lad. I cannot believe they're nearly the same height. That just throws me so much.
Look, he's a
Oh
toon,
man.
so Mad Lad is usually shorter than any toon that he meets. But technically, like when he's just relaxed. If it's not funny, he's usually 4 foot two.
Mm.
He's probably a little bit shorter just because it's toons.
Yeah, well, they're on average about 3 foot. So,
Yeah.
like, Chifley's tall for a toon.
Hmm.
And also, like, Missy is only, like, 2'6". So, Mad Lad's 2 feet taller than her.
Yeah.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. Alright, but we digress. He's just folded his arms over his chest and sort of leaned back a little bit, just watching this kid going, alright, lay it on me.
Chifley could hear like the music, right?
Absolutely, he can, yeah.
Yeah. He could like before he made the intimidation. He could like hear Mad Lad's like theme normally, see, which is definitely a mixture of like a sort of sea shanty sort of rhythm along with a general sort of adventurer's vibe, kind of a mix of a
Mm-hmm.
sea shanty and the Mystery Dungeons Adventurers theme.
Love that.
And and now his theme has just gone a little bit more rapid, more in anticipation and nervousness.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, that's fine.
He can make a perception if he wants. Let's see
Alright,
how bad this goes. Let's see how.
I'm changing to a different d20. I can't do single digits every single time I roll it.
Well, honestly, that would be good for the first one because he doesn't hear anything strange about Mad Lad's theme. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Alright, so perception. Oh, Chip's got a relatively high modifier. That's a 9 or up.
Yeah, he doesn't hear anything, and Mad Lad's
Mhm.
like, so, First question, what do you do, or do you do anything?
I work at the ECCR, if that was your question.
Yes, I didn't know if you had a job or were an adventurer. Those are two. Those are sort of two different skill sets, but fair enough.
No, I've done the adventure thing. Don't think I could do that full time. Not when I have Missy to look after.
All right. Well, if I mean, you're. I feel like it's more than fair for you to ask questions too.
You ask another, and I'll think.
I mean, all right. Since you say you're at the ECCR, what do you do there?
In plain terms, I suppose you could call me a nurse. And an archival assistant is the official title. But I assist the archivists there.
Ah, I see. That's cool. Next question. I think I know what the ECCR is about, but could you tell me more about it?
There's a very, very anime facepalm at that question. The Anquel Continental Color Registry is like a doctor's office for treating color disorders and other tune disorders. But primarily our focus is color-based disorders. There is also a registry of everyone's color palettes.
Color palettes? He like tips his head to the side like a dog.
Surely you know what a color palette is.
I know cartoons are made of blood. Not blood, but their ink is blood. But I'm not very sure if I've heard the term color palette before. I mean, I could sort of assume is the tune's color, but I feel like you have a different meaning for it.
And this is something that you would learn if you stayed in primary school. Missy tells me that you're hardly there.
I have work to do. I say I'm an egad.
There's another arched eyebrow, and he has no idea what that is. Oh,
God, I
man.
forgot the off the top of my head what the acronym actually stands for. Mad Lad would know.
Inkwell Guild of Animated Discoveries.
Inkwell's Guild of Animated Discoveries.
Right. Sounds like something Missy would love to be in. Is this a school club?
It can't be. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's run by two really old adventurers. Ollie and Thad.
I love how you're explaining something one of my characters does to me. It's so funny. Sorry.
No, I love when this happens. Honestly, with myself.
Excuse me while I feign ignorance. Right. Well, perhaps that you should focus less on your guild and more on your studies, because everyone else in Missy's class seems to know what a color palette is. It's basic stuff. A color palette is the range of colors that make you up. If your colors change abruptly or over time, that can indicate either a redesign or a color disorder.
So color palettes and Toon blood are pretty much the same.
Depends on the kind of tune. For you, and he's just gonna look Mad Lad up and down. Is Mad Lad a Frankenale or a Warn?
He's a ward.
He's a Warn, okay. I don't think I'd be taking any ink from your outlines if I were to do a color draw on you. But for UBA and tunes, if you draw too much, you can make transparent pieces in their design, which is uncomfortable and far too easy to do by accident.
Yeah, Chifley, you want to roll an insight?
Sure, I'm gonna use a different d20, see if I get a better roll. I do, in fact, get a better roll. Thank you, Chifley. $27.
Yeah. What, like, you start explaining this, and now that he knows that you're a nurse, and you talk about specifically taking, like, ink to study, Mad Lad tries to hide it, but he is physically extremely uncomfortable with this subject, and even steps back slightly.
Oh dear, oh dear. Does Chifley detect a hint of trauma response in that?
A bit, yes. With a 27.
Oh dear. Chif's gonna stop and frown a little bit and then sigh. It's not something that happens idly.
Good. It would be bad if it did.
Alright. My turn. Do your parents know that you're here?
Mad Lad just is quiet again. I don't think crew really cares where I am, and as long as I get home before dark or send a message, I'm fine.
What a lax approach to child rearing.
I mean, Mad Lad is just gonna be quiet. He doesn't want to add more fuel to the fire. Flipper 27 he could definitely tell that Mad Lad is not telling the whole truth.
Yeah, okay. Chifley is going to take a deliberate step towards Mad Lad and just sort of, so he's in a position where he can look down at him a little bit and just arch an eyebrow and look at him very expectantly. Like, Chifley may not be a parent, but like this is a very parent kind of expression. He's learned this from having to deal with Missy almost exclusively by himself for the last 3 years.
He's gonna get more than he bargained for, though. Mad Lad's like, hey, Crew's only just been my recent dad. My original family isn't here anymore.
That'll sort of make him stop, and his shoulders will relax a little bit from the "you will tell me" for sort of pose, and he sort of softens a little, just a smidge, in the left or taken kind of way.
More in the dead kind of way.
I see. Well, something we all have in common then. And he's going to step away from Mad Lad, and I'm picturing them in the lounge room now. He's going to walk away from Mad Lad towards the kitchen on the other side. But there's a little low table on the side of the room that he kind of looks at and slows down and lingers at just as he's passing it. And it's got 2 photos on it. And then there's like a small bowl of rice and some incense and some flowers and some drawings that Missy's obviously done and what have you. That he looks at that and slows down just a little bit to look at it as he walks past before he heads towards the kitchen.
Yeah, Mad looks over too and is like, what's that?
He'll sort of stop and look over his shoulder and then look back at the little table. That's something we do for the people we've lost where we're from.
Oh.
And then he'll go into the kitchen. Mad Lad is welcome to have a closer look if he would like.
Mad Lad is going to have a closer look because he's curious now.
Do you want to roll perception?
He will roll perception indeed. What is that number? Okay, that's not bad. That is a... Come on. Roll. 9 plus 6. That's a 15.
15. Okay, cool. So as Mad Lad gets closer to have a better look at this, the 2 frames are the same size and they've been put in a way that the edges of them are touching. And one of them has a photograph of a woman with long red hair, and she has a very similar face to Missy. The same sort of eye shape, the same freckles, but she's got very long red-orange hair, and she's wearing a blue dress and a white apron, and there's small little tufts of green and blue hair at the very bottom of the frame, as if... Missy and Chifley were in the frame of the photo when whoever was taking it did so. The other picture has a male Toon in it who looks an awful lot like Chifley, but a bit different. He's got much darker but more saturated blue hair rather than the kind of dusty teal kind of hair that Chifley's got. And it's cut in a very different way, like it's much shorter. And he's wearing a suit and like not quite a suit, but like he's wearing a white business shirt and a dark blue vest, and he's got a little tie. And he seems to be holding a conductor's baton as well, and he's looking at some sheet music on a stand. And those two photo frames are put right close to each other so that they're touching. And the other items on this table are put in a way that, like, it's not just haphazard. They're deliberately in front of these two photos, and there's more like music sort of based looking things on the side with the male tune, and more like the arts and craftsy stuff that Missy has been making on the side with the female tune.
Mad Lad has actually seen something like this before in his travels. And he looks at Chifley. Is this a shrine?
Of sorts. Different to one you would make for the gods. It's more from remembrance than anything else. And there's a few clatters from the kitchen as he's getting down a bowl and a big packet of chips, and he's just gonna put chips in a bowl, and then put it on the little table there and slide it across so that it's closer to the side of the kitchen where Mad Lad is, because he's kind of just assumed that if his current parent lets him just run around and do whatever, he may not have eaten.
Maybe. Who knows? Has he eaten today?
He doesn't, so he's just giving him chips.
Mad Lad is definitely going to take the chips. Oh, that's interesting. Is that a cultural sort of thing?
It's something that my father did, and my grandfather did, so I suppose so.
Because my mama has told me before, as we traveled, is say that you gotta be mindful of the different people's cultures.
Wise advice. What's normal for one person could be blasphemy for another.
Mad Lad nods as he says he says that.
I'm gonna roll another one of those perceptions to see if Chifley notices anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's better, but still not good. 10. Actually, no, it's not better. It's still bad.
It's still bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. You feel like something's nagging barely nagging at you, but you don't it's something that you really even wouldn't pay something in mind to.
Yep, fair enough. But and Chifley's just gonna eat his own chip. It's still quite cold in here as well.
Mad Lad probably is gonna make a comment about that. Do you always keep the air conditioner on? So high?
There isn't an air conditioner in here.
Then why is it cold?
Because of me.
I mean, he looks Chifley up and down. I mean, you do have a cold expression on your face, but that doesn't mean you're always cold. He thinks it's a joke.
Let me just read the description of this cantrip. Okay. Nah, that's excessive. I think what Chef's gonna do is he's gonna get down a glass of and he's gonna fill it with water from the tap, and then just put it down in front of Mad Lad, and just in the amount of time that it took for Chifley to take the glass away from the tap and put it on the table, and the water in it has frozen almost completely solid just in those few seconds. And he just wordlessly puts it down and walks back over to the cupboard.
So is this like a curse or magic?
It's a magic, I suppose. Though it's inconvenient enough that calling it a curse would not be vastly inaccurate. But it's just me.
Mm. Were your parents magical?
Our father was a bard. Very talented at that, but more in the musical way than magical. But whatever this is, it's come out relatively recently. More or less used to the ambient effects of it, but I do miss having warm drinks somewhat. And he just gives a bit of a shrug.
Mad Lad has an idea as he casts produce flame to melt the ice in the glass and tries to make it warm for Chifley. Like his hand is like kept underneath it as he like sort of like waves Chifley's head down to see if he can try to give Chifley a warm drink.
Would you like to roll an insight?
Yes. Oh, that's actually a not bad one. That's a 19. No, wait, that's a +3. That's a 18. 21.
Beauty. Alright. Well, the second that Produce Flame went live, Chifley took a distinct, large, deliberate, almost instinctive step back away from it. And, like, even with every intention that Mad Lad had, there is several things that he can get with a 21 from the motion and from the expression on Chifley's face. And first of all, it's I appreciate the sentiment. I know what you're doing. We've tried that. But also, fire bad, fire bad, fire bad. Like, it's not a fire, like, it's not pyrophobic. But it's these two elements do not mix kind of thing, and like he's just, I need to stay away from that for my own health.
Mad Lad looks at Chifley, looks at the fire, looks at Chifley, looks at the fire. Ah! He puts out the flame.
Chifley immediately relaxes again after that. I'd appreciate it if you kept fire magic away from me. If that's at all possible.
I am able to keep fire magic away from you. Yes.
Good. I've not had particularly good experiences with it thus far.
I just recently learned how to do magic, so I'm still getting used to it. So, yeah.
I can appreciate that. And I got my magic the first time. It was all I wanted to do. There is a time and a place, and the kind of magic makes a difference.
Mad
I
Lad
can't
not.
even make sparks with prestidigitation anymore. Not without repercussions.
Really, that bad? Huh. I mean, kind of feel bad for you. I mean, are you like cool with like regular fire?
No, that's no better.
Ah, I see. Mad Lad gives a concerned look. He's like, oh, we are two different elements already.
I'll melt. And I don't care for that.
Figuratively or literally?
Unfortunately. Literally.
I see. Good to know. Good to know. Mad Lad. Mad Lad's just almost patting himself down, making sure none of his firearms are present, which they aren't. But it's still that grudge is like, yeah, just gonna put those away, just not to anger the brother. I'm trying to be nice for once.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, and Chifley's just giving Mad Lad a bit of a look. But then he will just sort of sit down at the table and fold his hands on the table. And he's just looking at Mad Lad very expectantly.
Mad Lad is like, and do you want to make another perception?
Sure. I'm gonna try Rise Dice this time. Please be high.
You need to be. You need to get more dice. This is the problem that you're having.
Well, no, the problem that I'm having is that since I bought this particular set of dice for Chifley, he's rolled like shit. So I think I just need Chifley to have a set of dice. What's that? No, wait, no. Perception, that's plus. Oh, yes. 19.
Oh, okay. That makes it. I was going for 18 as the minimum. As there's this like awkward silence that comes through the air. Chifley, you're used to hearing the theme music of everyone else. I forget what was it called. The sound.
The soundtrack.
The soundtrack.
Yeah.
You, as awkward as you and Mad Lad sort of stare at each other, just trying to figure out the next point of conversation, you notice something in his theme. Because the theme has calmed down now. It's definitely become a more relaxed sort of theme. Not a full sea shanty like he's happy or joyous like he usually is when excited, but just more a calm, mellow one. One of one of violins, and probably you could probably hear the wind is soundtrack. However, you hear something else, a counter melody, if you can call it that. That just is distinctly not his theme. It's extremely silent. Like you could barely, even now, you could barely hear it. But it's a melody that very much contradicts his own melody and is something else.
Okay. Let me just roll. I'm going to roll an insight, first of all, because unfortunately, Chifley has had some experience with somebody whose theme sounds a little bit weird or has an overlay and it wasn't a good time. So let's just see what happens here. Oh, that's a natural 1. Chifley, oh no. Okay. Alright, well that makes it a 9. But like it's still a nat 1.
No, it's a nat 1. What does happen?
Well, Chifley has noticed this extra sort of very mute, low theme. And as Mad Lad's looking at Chifley, trying to figure out what to say, there's this shift in the way that he holds himself. And like Mad Lad can tell that he's noticed something. And there's kind of like if you imagine that cracking ice kind of noise that they put in cartoons and movies as the frost creeps over stuff.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that noise as Chifley's hair starts to have white frost spider over it from the tips going down towards the roots as his hair changes white, and his eyes are black, but they start getting little edges of frost around the edges of his eyes as well, and he is now, like, his expression hasn't hugely changed, but the vibe is instantly just turned very hostile. And, like, there's frost creeping across the floor.
Mad Lad is going to be very confused and very concerned.
Oh my gosh. He's not saying anything, but like, yeah, there is Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Lad is just gonna be like, are you okay?
I've been fooled once. But you're not really what you seem. Are you?
Mad Lad, he's gonna roll a deception. He's gonna roll a deception.
And I'm gonna roll a hammer space. That's not a 1.
That's a nat 20. That is a nat 20.
On a deception, okay. Well, what's the opposite of deception? Insight. Let's see
Insight.
what happens.
With advantage because you've heard it.
Okay. Okay, cool. That makes it Chif gets an 18 at best.
I mean, that's good. He can definitely tell that when Madlet says, I mean, I'm not trying to deceive you or anything. I thought we were just having a nice talk. It's 100% the complete truth.
Mm-hmm. Chifley is not convinced though, because he's just still he's not actually done anything. Like he's reached a hand into his pocket and he's pulled out what looks like a conductor's baton. So it's just like a wand that's 5-6 inches long, and he's just sort of tapping it against the table, and what he's doing is he's tapping out the rhythm of the other theme that he can hear, and he's focusing very, very hard on that rhythm, the secondary theme that he can hear, and he is just staring at Mad Lad going, okay, no, I need to know what that theme is.
Mad Lad is now just looking confused. He's like, what are you doing?
Trying to listen for who you really are in the background.
What do you mean in the background? He's gonna go off that deception. He's trying to learn information.
Let me see. How cranky are you? You did roll in that one, I guess.
That's pretty cranky, probably.
Oh dear. Do you want to do a whiz save?
Yes. Oh, that's a nat 1!
Oh,
depending on what happens, I need to pull up another character sheet.
Are these both concentration? No, they're not. Okay. Cool. Alright. Oh, except you can't talk if he does that. Okay. Sorry. I'm just reading these spells.
No, understand. Spells are hard sometimes.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Okay. Alright. Okay, no, he wouldn't cast that because that's not useful. Because you can't ask questions if you've been held person. So if we make that a charisma saving throw, you still gotta know.
Yeah.
Unless you can roll it again, though, if you want. I think that's fair.
Up
to you.
I mean, I kind of want to see how this plays out. So, continue.
Okay, cool. So there is a more solid tap of that wand against the tabletop, and he's just cast Zone of Truth around them both. And he just stands up from his chair and places his hands on the table very, very gently. I know something's up. I can hear your theme and the other theme.
Other theme? I don't know what you're talking about.
Everyone has a musical theme to them. And you have two.
You know, without that one, Mad Lad looks like he's been caught red-handed. And it's also the zone of truth, so yes.
Yeah. And I've had too many times hearing a fake theme of someone in disguise. So, who are you really?
It's
And he's going to point his wand at Mad Lad.
Mad Lad is very nervous.
I might roll him another intimidation just for shits and giggles.
Honestly, you're intimidated a lot, but actually, please continue.
Okay, that's not as good as before. What's your intimidation? It's only a +2. So, like... So that's only an 8. So, like, it's not additionally particularly intimidating, but, like...
Mad Lad is just like, I understand concern. He probably has seen this magic used before by one of his old family members, so he knows what he's in right now.
Yeah. He's aware that he's under some kind of truth-telling spell.
And I understand that you want me to tell the truth. And the truth is, this is a very complicated matter that you wouldn't like on multiple reasons, but it is not like I am who I am. I am Mad Lad, but there is someone else.
There is a few other of those ice crick 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 kind of noises, and it kind of looks like Chifley's like parts of his cheek and down the side of his neck, like his skin has actually turned to ice in a few places. By all means, elaborate.
Right. So, how should I start this? I have 2 souls inside of me.
It's going to be just sort of or he's going to raise an eyebrow. He's like, 2 souls.
Yep. One that is mine, and one who his name is Alexander.
Dare I ask why?
He thinks for how to say this correctly. He's just like, I was technically, by technicality, I should say, born this way.
He's going to just sort of frown. So, a brother of sorts.
You know, I never really thought of it that way, but by also technicality, yes, since we share the same blood and ink.
And does he control your body at any point?
That lad freezes again. He can. However, we've both come to agreement we've come to a peaceful agreement. We are getting better at not wanting to kill each other.
Okay. Do you want to roll an insight?
Yeah. That is another 9 for a 10. No, wait. 10, 11, 12.
12? Okay, that's pretty average. But that's okay. Like, some of the ice patches on Chifley's skin has started to turn back to that pale tan kind of color. And his expression has kind of lost a little bit of that angry, suspicious, oh no, are you another changeling? Fuck kind of vibe. And he's kind of getting an edge a little bit more of concern.
I do
But
not. Yeah, Mad Lad will say.
He hasn't put his weapon away or anything.
Yeah, Mad
He's
Lad
still
will
just sort
say
of
when he
standing
sees
there.
that, it's like, I do not like talking about this because it's a fucked up backstory, and I don't like sharing it often, if ever. I've only learned about the true meaning of my creation recently, and it still fucks me up.
You have very harsh language for a child.
I grew up on a pirate ship.
And that explains so much.
Yes.
He still looks unimpressed, but the temperature of the air is starting to warm up again. Like it had gone really cold, like it's subarctic kind of cold once his hair and skin started to go icy. But now it's kind of thawing out a little bit, and it's just going to normal cold.
If you said subarctic, I'm gonna roll a con for Matt to see how well he takes it, and depending on what he rolls, something else may happen.
Oh, fun.
That's a 14. It's not bad, but it's also not the greatest when it's like subarctic temperatures. He handles the cold pretty well. Like, he is very much shaking. However, does Chifley want to roll a perception?
Sure. Let's see, which dice am I going to use? Let's use Sally's dice. Please roll high. Please. I'm begging you. That is the opposite of what I wanted! What's your perception again? That just makes it a 6. Ah.
You're just amazed that this kid hasn't, like, done a tunishly frozen in a popsicle bit.
Chifley does ambient temperature a lot. Like, if Chip were to have touched him, yeah, maybe, but yeah, no, it is starting to warm back up now that he's calming down a bit. Zone of Truth is such a good spell.
I don't go to the doctor because of what I am, and I do not wish to, so whatever you heard, doctor-patient confidentiality, please do not repeat to anyone else. I honestly do not want to tell the rest of this story because it would freak you out. Because, again, fucked up backstory, but at the same time, I do not want to be frozen in a popsicle and or Alexander defends himself.
There have been too many times when we have been presented with someone who not shown the right face. And I'm a little on edge over such things. And he's gonna put his wand away and sort of move over to the other side of the kitchen so that he's as far away from Mad Lad as the room allows.
I mean, he looks down as he assumes he's still in the magic circle. I will stand here and tell the truth that neither me nor Alexander want to harm you or your family. We just want to keep ourselves hidden.
From who?
That's the catchy part. I have no fucking idea. Apparently, say you want to know how my original family died? They died in an ambush. A not very sure if it's a pirate ship ambush, but a sea ambush. I was pushed into a portal out for safety.
Charming.
They apparently wanted me, but I don't know why. And I think maybe they either lost sight of me or they haven't found out where I am. I don't know. I don't think about it that often for obvious reasons. But we have come to the conclusion, and maybe because of what I am, since I am not really normal.
We're Toons. Normal is subjective, unfortunately.
Here's the thing, I'm not all the way Toon.
There's another one of those arched eyebrow expressions.
Technically, I'm half Toon, but here's the thing. There's something up with my blood or something that makes me, like, full Toon.
Seems like all the more reason to go to a doctor.
Here's the thing. I don't know who to trust at the doctor's office. If it becomes public record, people aren't going to be able to find me, so I do not want people to find me.
Well, if it's your ink, your blood that you're worried about, the CCR is a good place to start.
With all due respect,
They don't go sharing details. It's not exactly what they're for.
with all due respect, I'm not very sure how deep or these roots go, so I'd rather be safe than sorry and have this off the record for, like, every reason.
Do you want to roll another insight?
Yeah. Oh, that's a nat 1.
Okay. You get nothing, I'm afraid. This young adult is now just looking at you and, yeah, just sort of studying you a bit. But, also kind of not looking at you at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, his attention is sort of...
Mm-hmm.
He's thinking. You could get that. Chifley is doing one heck of a think.
I just please ask that you keep this between me and you, because I do not want this to get around. If you want me to tell more, I will, but you may not like it.
I know lots of things that I don't like. And have seen lots of things that I don't like. But if what you're saying is true, then there's a bit of a conundrum. Because if you don't know who is after you, or why, that's not something you can just ignore. And if you want me to let Missy continue to play with you and spend time with you, I need to be confident that you are not inherently putting her at risk.
Well, I assume that they probably think I'm dead because my parents are dead, so they probably think that I'm dead too, so that's one thing that I've at least concluded that that's probably what's happening here. And I don't know how to convince you that I'm not a threat. Exactly. But I would never harm your sister nor put her in unnecessary danger. For my background bullshit.
If they find out you're alive, then anyone that you spend time with will be a risk.
And I'm more than aware of that.
Especially if you don't know why or who you're looking out for.
And I'm more than aware of that, and it keeps me up at night sometimes.
I wouldn't imagine how it would be. Right. No. You are very important to my sister. So I am willing to work with you. However, if you will not go to the ECCR, then you should come to me. I'll bring some equipment home.
I can accept that. I will tell you, but you can't tell anyone else without my permission. Also, out of curiosity, there's not any other doctors in the family, are there?
Technically speaking, my cousin is an expert on magical medicine. It may be wise to
which
consult
cousin?
with her
Is
as
this
well.
Cassie?
Oh, you know her.
Yes. Yes,
Not
I do.
Cassie. Her sister, Crystal.
I see.
So, if you don't trust the system, and he's gonna do like little quotes with his fingers. But if you trust Crystal and I enough, I will concede to let you continue your friendship with Missy.
I can accept this.
That we look into why someone might be after you. Because if someone is after you, I will not have Missy be caught in the crossfire.
I can accept these terms. As long as it stays within this family. And he's not very sure if to do air quotes or not. So he just does the hand gesture of just like all around.
Chifley will just sort of nod. And then he will... what are you going to do? Nope, I had an idea and then I lost it. So he's just going to nod. And then he will... he was leaning against the counter on the opposite side of the kitchen so that the side that Mad Lad was on would come back up to temperature. But now he's kind of calming down. The rest of the room is sort of equalizing. It's still cold, but it's not freezing. And he just goes, next time you visit, I'd also appreciate it if you would use the front door.
I will try to remember it.
I suppose that's as good as I can get. I will speak to Crystal. And then we'll make a time.
Yeah, we'll make a time.
Where can I find you?
Mad Lad takes out a little pen and looks for like a piece of paper.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be like a one of those sets of like, it's almost like post-it notes, but like for note taking and stuff on the fridge. He'll be able to grab one of those.
The Velvet Apartment, and he writes down the address.
Chifley will take it and he will put that into his hammer space. And he's just going internally,
Yeah, Mad Lad is just like, well, this isn't what I expected for today.
But Chifley will take the note and he'll put it in his hammer space and he'll just sort of look at Mad Lad and go, Missy is not going to be out tomorrow. So I would suggest that you come back then. You may find that a lot more entertaining than just sitting here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be a true statement. Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. And he, like, starts slowly backing his way towards the front door.
Chifley will go to, like, keep pace with him and unlock the front door and then open it so that Mad Lad can walk out.
Uh-huh. I glad we had this talk. He does finger guns.
As am I. It's always good to know what you're getting into.
Yeah, indeed. For sure.
I do have one more question for you, though.
Yeah?
Does Missy know?
No. Why would I want to tell her that I'm just a freak in nature?
Knowing Missy like I do, she wouldn't take it badly.
Like I said, this isn't a really... Well, I'm not very sure if any secret is a good secret. Well, kind of it is, but this isn't a good secret. It's messed up. And the less people know, the less people may get hurt in the future.
Unfortunately, it's not always a tactic that works. Ignorance can be just as dangerous. But if Missy does not already know, until we have a better idea of the circumstances, I'd appreciate it if you would keep her in the dark for now.
I mean, that was gonna be the plan, so yeah.
Then we're in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
I will talk to Crystal, and I anticipate to see you here tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Right. Because she's gonna be here. Right. Yeah. He's a little bit spaced out because there's a lot to process in such a short time.
Unfortunately for Mad Lad, Chifley is very protective of his family due to all of the things.
Honestly, this may work
He's a
out.
bit of a grump.
Which is fair. Honestly, this may work out and this may start some plot. I've been saying
goody.
This may start some plot.
Huzzah! I love that.
I'm not very sure how it will just yet. I have an idea, depending on the choices you guys make, but it may start some plot, and I'm sort of excited now.
Yay! Well, I'm happy to help. Is there anything Mad Lad wants to do or say before Chifley closes the door and locks it again?
Yeah, Mad Lad is just like, yeah, so see you tomorrow then. Bye. And then Cloud, Expedition Tree, as there's just only a cloud form of him as he just runs.
Chifley's just gonna sort of shake his head, give a little bit of a smile, and then close the door and go back to what he was doing before Mad Lad broke in.
Yeah, Mad Lad just needs some candy right now. He needs some really sugary root beer. He needs the process of what just happened and how close that people are getting to him, because I'll let you know, Whis, he did have his blood tested before. And his mother basically told him, he's just like, yeah, we don't discuss this ever again. There
Oh,
is
well, good. I'm glad we have a vault of lore to unlock for the lad. I'm excited. Oh, how cool. Oh, cool. Alright, well, this was fun.
this was a lot of
Chifley
fun.
is in such a bad mood when it comes to this shit. I'm so sorry.
No. This is amazing. We just had a perfect like round of nat ones that just gave so much lore.
Oh, props to Zone of Truth. We love Zone of Truth.
Yeah, zone of truth.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I think it's time we should say goodbye to our audience. Bye bye, audience!
Bye.